Yeah, you just gotta dance. And now we have more alcohol in our system, so it's easier. See?
You guys drank before this?
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, people of all kinds, welcome to the best show during the best part of the week, the end of the week.
Let's fucking go. You're actually gonna stop the intro. You were not trying.
I know.
You were not trying.
In my defense, I started laughing before you hit the button because I saw the trajectory.
You should have just switched. You can just switch.
Come on.
You can switch.
It's me. Come on.
All right. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. Are we ready? Are we ready? All right. Let's go.
Okay. Keep going.
Let's go. We actually wooed at the same time.
We did. Oh, man.
It's going to sound super loud. Welcome to the End of Week podcast. What time is it, Rob?
It's the best time of the week.
The best what, Nicolette?
The time of the week.
God damn.
She messed it up, but it doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying. I told you this was going to make me nervous.
I can't believe she's
The time of the week.
It's the best what?
The time of the week. No, she didn't say best.
Time of the week.
The time of the week.
Time of the week.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, we have actually switched our slogan to the time of the week, actually.
We just switch it to whatever Nicolette can manage to muster out, to be honest.
All right. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back.
Oh,
we actually
I told you the intro made me nervous.
All right. So, we have a topic for our guests, our viewers at home, that Nicolette provided. We're going to talk about what we think about on our first dates. So, what are your expectations? What are you thinking is going to happen? What do you want to happen? All those things are going to come out in play as we give our different perspectives. So, I'm going to start with my good friend Rob. Rob, please.
Who is going to do the honors of passing it to our good friend Nicolette.
And I'm going to bring it right back to you because I'm the host today. All right.
Okay.
All right, let's get serious.
Think back.
Think back to what?
Your first date.
Nicole, just hold on, Nicole. Just hold on. Just put your seatbelt on.
So the question is, what thoughts go through your mind during a first date?
On a first date. Yeah.
On
not
first date.
the first of the first. Like a first date.
It can be the first of the first too. It can, like if that's the one that you want to use as your example, it's completely
on
fine.
any first date.
Yeah.
Can you remember
Like-
your first date?
Yeah.
With Nicole?
No, your first date.
My first date?
My first date.
I do.
Do you?
I do.
We could talk about that. I kind of want to hear about that.
All right, so let's talk about that one.
How that's
Since you already
evolved.
like.
I thought we were going to speak in general.
No. But you're already there. So, do you remember actually what went through your head during those times, like when you were prepping for your first date?
I remember
like work.
Yeah. Did you have the pre-meeting content ready? Okay. Yeah, I do remember what went through my mind. So, all right. So, my first ever first date was senior year of high school. And it was with my first girlfriend ever. And I remember thinking, I hope all the research I've done will translate to this experience. No. My first ever first date was at the movie theater.
Wait. So hold on. You said all your homework, all your. What was it that you said? Like
all of the research that I've done.
So what's research? What is exactly research?
My research was
Guy Code, MTV.
MTV Tuesdays, and IPA. No.
Raiders.
Okay. No. Wait, you said Womb Raiders?
Room Raiders.
Do you remember Room Raiders on MTV?
Nah.
You remember?
It's fine. I do, but it's fine.
All
Go
right.
ahead. Go
Anyway,
ahead.
I digress. So I did research on how to make a first date great impression. So making sure that the girl
Hold
who you're
the fuck on.
What? Is that
You researched how to make a first date great impression?
I thought that was a normal thing to
We
be
didn't
honest.
do that. We didn't
guys
know one
didn't
did
do
that.
Oh my god.
Wait, for your first date ever? How do you know how to do a good first
Oh
date?
my god. Oh my god.
You just went.
No,
my
no,
God.
no. Hold on. It's a little bit different.
No.
All right, hold on.
This is universally
All right, did you ask?
weird.
Did you
This is
ask,
universally
hold on.
weird.
When you on your first date, did you ask the person on a date or did they ask you?
I asked them.
I was asked.
So you don't have to worry because, you know,
I did not worry either.
Oh.
you're like 40 years old. Bro.
Back in the olden times, it was just a matter of bringing the right stuff to her dad. You know, the pig, the chicken.
All right. In the words of who wrote The Art of War, Shang Tsung.
No,
I know it's not Shang Tsung because that's a character from Mortal Kombat, but I appreciate Mike giving me a nod of approval. Sun Tzu. In the words of Sun Tzu, you don't go into war unless you're properly prepared.
fair.
A first date is war.
War.
Okay.
It is.
We
It
got
is war.
I agree.
It is war. And I'm going to win.
Clearly
as far as I'm
outnumbered.
concerned.
Clearly outnumbered. Okay.
So
okay, go on.
I wanted to make sure that the girl who I was going on this date with was going to have an amazing time and she was going to enjoy it from start to finish. So yes, I did do research on good date ideas, good things to say during the date, good things to do during the date. Fair enough. So I'm only in high school at this time. I'm a senior. It's my first ever real date ever in my life. And we ended up going to the movies. And then as part of my research, I realized a first date should be a journey. Like she should have multiple components of the night to remember as part of the experience. So we went to the movies.
There's a scientific method to a date.
Yo. And guess what?
Yeah.
We dated for multiple months after.
Multiple months.
Shut up. Yes, months.
Multiple months.
That's like decades in high school.
Right. Okay. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. Go on.
So we went from the movie theater to Red Mango, frozen yogurt, you know. You go from experience to catering. And then from there, we just went on a walk around the neighborhood. So different experiences throughout the night, different things to remember. And almost multiple dates in one.
You just went to like the rom-com formula at Hollywood.com or something.
And guess what?
We dated for multiple months.
He got a second date.
Yeah. I got a second date and a third.
Oh.
And a fourth, I'm assuming.
Who's counting?
One a month.
Hey.
It was a lot at once.
Yeah,
So
that's like-
spread them out.
Oh my God.
And so during that time, I distinctly remember thinking, like, is she having fun? Like, am I being a good, and this sounds kind of crazy, but like an event coordinator, essentially?
So your goal is to please.
Yeah.
Entertain the guests. Like the...
That was priority number one.
Entertain the guests. Yeah.
The guests.
Don't
like,
say it in that condescending tone. You fucking...
Like, am I making this person have a good time?
Because I really liked her.
Yeah.
Is the food
course
to
you
their
And
liking.
that was priority number one.
Is the entertainment to their liking.
Exactly.
Yep.
Priority number two is because I already liked her. And so this is like where it may be different from my experience to like a normal first date for all of you,
Frequent daters out there.
lovebirds out there. So like in that moment, I was thinking like, is this person enjoying themselves versus I feel like, in today, if you're going on a first date, it's like, do I even like this person? Is this person a good match for me? So on and so forth. To me, in that moment, that person was already a good match for me. So from there, it's just like making the most out of the experience.
That's so interesting because, like,
You're
how old
aiming
are you?
to impress.
How old are you? Like your first date? You said in high school?
Like 23?
No.
I'm kidding.
He almost got me.
I'm joking.
No,
I was like,
you're
like
18.
16, 17.
I have a late birthday, so I was 16, I think. I was
In high
16.
school, your senior year of high school, Jen. We're 18.
No, I was 17. No, I was 17 when I graduated high school.
No, I think you're right, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a late birthday too, yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
So at 17, I guess it's like, as a man, I'm a boy.
Sure. As a boy, as a juvenile.
Not yet. After the first date is a different story.
But you go into it like, I already like her, and I want to make sure that she could like me, because you feel some kind of connection with her. Maybe you were talking a little bit before, and now, but now you're saying like, as you get older, you're almost like transitioning into a first date as like, wait, do I even like this person?
100%.
That's interesting. Like, why do you think that switch happens?
I think you become more aware, you know? It's like you don't essentially, like with everything, experience actually helps decision making. So Rob's, in this scenario, he hasn't gone through it before. He's trying to pull all the stops to make sure it goes perfectly, right? Which is something I'm making fun of you with, but it's something that I admire, right? Because it talks about your personality in general.
That's
and
right.
For those of you who know Rob, it checks out. But obviously, I think on a first date basis, I'm more in line with your train of thought, where it's like testing out waters, you know, like getting a feel. You don't know exactly, at least in my experience, even if you know the person a lot, going from friendship to a date, it's a whole different ballgame.
No, so I'm saying more like Rob was mentioning that when he was like younger on his first date, he felt like he needed to impress. He wanted the girl to like him back and all those things. But like when he got, you said like more like when you get older, or like for more experienced people, you want to make sure that you also like that person because you're going into it unknowing.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean
Yeah,
like how do we get from
like,
this
when did the switch
giving
happen?
Yeah,
like
from this one-sided
because
experience?
I think that happens. Like I think for girls too, women too, like you start on a first date and you like already assume that like the first date means maybe the first date means more than it actually is. It's like when you're younger, you're like, wow, this first date, like, oh my God.
we'll measure everything that happens afterwards.
And then it's like,
Rob
now that
clearly
as you're,
Listen.
now that
All I'm going to say is I've only been on 2 first dates, baby. So I'm 2 for 2.
Right. So
Continue.
yeah, continue. after that spectacle, you completely forgot what you were saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
no, okay, I know what I was saying.
No. You were saying like, when does that switch happen?
Yeah, when does the switch happen? That you start to feel like the first date isn't as intense or as like
impactful
romantic or like maybe it's romantic, but you're not trying as hard because you also have some stake in the game where you're like, ooh, maybe this isn't for me either, but we're both gonna go do this and try it out.
All right. So I think to connect those 2 points of view, I think it literally depends on how much you like that person, right?
But what makes
you like someone that early up front?
Yes.
I don't think it happens unless you get infatuated really easily with a person without knowing them. I think that build up where you know them, you have a friendship, and you really want to make it work because you really, really like them from before is what motivates you to switch into that like give the experience type of mentality. Whereas if you're just getting to know a person, you don't have any strong feelings towards them, you're more in the like, okay, so let me make sure it's a good fit. There's a more rational approach to it at that point, at least in my point of view. For example, my first date
Ever
was maybe 10th grade, right? So that's 14,
Sophomore.
15,
Yeah, 15.
more or less. And what we did, we had to do like a group project, and we just decided to that day to kind of turn it into a date as well. So what we did was
The whole group?
no. So we took advantage of that excuse.
Speed dating?
we took advantage of that excuse, right? And what we did was, after we wrapped up our day, I kind of went to her, and I kind of already knew that we liked each other just because of interactions. We weren't that really good friends or anything. We didn't talk every day or whatever. But there was like chemistry, right? You kind of know. So I said like, oh, do you want to go to the mall? Like, that's essentially what you can do when you're underage and still in school and like, you know, you're in a protected environment. So just invited her to the mall. And then what?
Protected environment.
Yeah, protected. I mean, I wasn't thinking about like going out when I was at that stage in my life. That's what I meant. I clearly, I'm not surrounded by people with the same mentality. Well, no, you can say what you mean. Sure.
No, I'm just along for the ride, my friend.
Okay, so there you go. So what I'm saying, like, I wasn't in that state of mind. I was just very, very naive, right?
Okay.
So I invited her to the mall, and what I did was I thought about things that we could both enjoy, but would give us a chance to talk. So I specifically made a reservation at a Chili's. That's the best I could do. After a movie. That Chili's that I went to usually got super, super packed, so you had to call. That's fun fact about that Chili's in Puerto Rico. Yep.
Okay.
So we went to the movie, right? We went to the movie and we watched something, and then the purpose of it was so we could talk about the movie afterwards, right? Because if you go to dinner first and then you watch the movie, when you don't know the person that
You don't have
well,
enough time to speak.
yeah, and then after the movie, it just ends abruptly.
Also, movie first dates, boy.
It's all in the experience.
Yeah. So
Goes
what I
by.
did was we both picked a movie that we both were interested in. So it was like a group effort right there in front of the theater. Then afterwards, we were just talking about it and whatever. And for me, it ended with a kiss. So for me, it was a full-on victory. To me, it was great. Yeah, let's go, boy. Wait, hold on. So it's like, yeah, it's a full victory. Yeah, so for me, it was a great ending. So very simple. Did not go through all the effort of how to make the best great impression during a first date. But I thought of, one, what is something that we both would enjoy? And two, what would give us a chance to talk? That was mine.
That's simple. That's like, honestly, I feel like that translates to how you should approach first dates in this day and age.
But I think that's where I go back to now. I feel like both parties show up to, because in that situation, you're assuming that the girl's like, okay, I need to think about if I like him or not. And you're going into it as like
irrational.
I like her. Yeah, like I like her. So now you're saying people should maybe this day and age go into it like that. But what is the difference between why the guy, and I'm saying like guy asking a girl out on a date in this example, just because that's the situation that we're talking about. Like, why now is it different for the guy to go into the first date being like, I don't think like that, or like, let me see, versus I already know?
I mean,
how do most first dates happen these days?
yeah, it's like, and it's
Dating
so
apps, I
subjective though,
assume,
because
right?
in my opinion, if I were to go on a first date tomorrow, I would give it way more thought now. No, I wouldn't go like, whatever happens, happens. I would literally try to make something like eventful happen.
So you think it's like a stage in your life type thing too?
I think it's just your experience defines how you go from one mentality to the other. If you have, in Rob's case, where you really like the person even before you start dating, you have a friendship with them, and then you decide, okay, this is my chance, let's make it work. From my perspective, when I was young, I didn't have that at all. For me, it was just a really normal thing. Whereas now in this stage,
Sounds depressing.
no, it's not. No, because it was just like I did not have at that point in time my high school sweetheart or anything. But then now in this stage in my life, I don't date unless I really mean for something to work out, you know? So I take it way more seriously. I actually try for it to like be memorable.
So you actually, it didn't change that much. So,
For me,
yeah,
at the
for you.
But no, because at the beginning I wasn't even thinking about it that much. It just said like,
so it's actually more like opposite.
yeah. I went back to Rob's stage when he was in high school.
Yeah.
But obviously Rob's like has a girlfriend now. So it's completely different.
That. Like, so yours actually like switched. So like in the beginning when you were younger, you actually like were like, oh, whatever it is, what it is, and like now you're more like, let me make the experience happen. Whereas Rob was like,
right,
opposite.
correct.
Interesting.
Correct. How about you?
How about me?
How about you? Let's talk about you. Let's talk about Nicolette.
What about me?
Come on.
Yeah,
Let's get candid.
We're getting close
candid
to
with
Valentine's Day.
Right.
Okay, so when I was younger, went on my first date. I just show up.
You got asked out, so yeah. So,
It's a bit different.
What are your
like-
expectations going into something like that?
yeah. What do you think of the guy?
Like, do you
So I
think to
feel like
yourself?
it's a
Go
little
ahead.
bit consistent. Like when I look at it, still when I'm younger versus now. Maybe like when I'm younger, you're in high school with them, or most likely high school, and like you're around them every single day. So similar to like what Jan was saying, like you already know the person, so you kind of have a feel for it, and there's not so much getting to know the person going in, more just now how do you enjoy their company in that like one-on-one setting. So the showing up is pretty similar, but like the interactions while you're with them is more like, okay, so now what happens after this? Like I already know I like you. What happens after
Do you
this?
have nerves leading up to the date? Like, are you like, oh, I hope he plans a good date?
So back then,
I hope that we have fun.
But I think
I hope that he did research prior to this moment.
Or what are great first impressions?
like back then, no, I probably didn't have any expectations because I felt like I already knew the person. So there was no like really expectation of what they'll do for me.
You're
'cause
just
I already
happy
know
to jump on the ride.
We're just gonna go out one-on-one, pay.
Yeah.
Oh my God! You heard that?
damn.
Yep. Hey.
Pay.
Hey.
We're gonna go out when I'm younger, and even now.
What if he's 13 and you're 13 and he doesn't have a job?
Pay. Exactly.
Don't ask me out.
Figure it out, you fucking bum.
We're not going on dates when we're 13. Like, when
Well, yeah, I guess I was like,
Hey.
15, 16.
all right,
Yeah,
get it.
I paid for
Yeah.
everything on
Yeah,
my first.
take out a line of credit.
Did you pay for?
Did I pay for my birthday?
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on, bro.
Why do you think I've only been on 2 of them? You know?
Yeah, I paid for my first date too.
So then, like now, if I look at first dates, it's more like, okay, like what are you gonna do to like make me want to go on a second date with you? Like not really.
It feels like a test.
No, that I do think that's what dating is now.
'Cause
And even before, like dating is just a test. I literally, when I have interviews, have you guys ever interviewed with jobs and like you've built rapport with your interviewer and like have literally
Boxed with them.
Well, Jesus, I don't know what job you're interviewing for, but that's how I view dating very similarly. It's a test to see
Get the next level.
do they enjoy you, do you enjoy them, and is it worth progressing further? That's literally all it is.
Yeah.
And that's what I would imagine dating is now. You described it a little bit differently.
Yeah, for me, it's about For me, it's not a test; it's a dance. Like if you have chemistry, you do, and because I've had experiences where I've botched the date somewhere or the other, whether it's in my control or out of my control, just because of external things happen, and we keep on dating. Just because the chemistry is there.
So it's not about like, okay, so when I
So
say
I failed the test,
so when
but
I
I not
say-
failed the class.
So when I say like, what are you gonna do to make me want a second date, like inexperience wise, like now, it's not necessarily like you have to be perfect. It has to go like perfectly well, like meaning like, I don't know, like the Uber's late or something stupid like goes wrong. Like that's not what I'm talking about. It's more like, did you put some thought into what we were gonna do tonight? Like for example, if I'm gonna get a text saying, oh, like, do you want to meet up later? Where do you want to go? Immediately it's done. Don't ask me where I...
God dang, you see how fucking...
The stern, the axe.
No,
Oh my
because-
God, the axe.
Because don't ask me.
Bring me his head!
Bring me his head.
You're asking me out and then asking me what I want to do.
Nicolette grabs her phone, puts it on the table, sits like on a throne like this, leaning to the side, and says, "Come in."
Like, I was so close to saving your contact, and you ruined it.
She goes, "Yes, speak." Speak.
That's a red flag. If you can't plan the first date and you ask me out on the first date, red flag.
I've heard that before, yeah.
Because it's just a turn off. It just sets the precedent for the rest of the relationship. Oh, you want to do this? Okay, well, what do you want to do? It's just like okay, here we go.
Okay,
but what if you pick something that you don't want to do?
But see,
would you say it?
So there's a difference between like randomly picking something that like, okay, first date that would like suck is something that's like, let's go play video games at this video game convention. I'm just making that up, right? Like, I'm so disinterested
making
into
it up,
that.
right?
I am. So no, I'm just like, this is like very like far-fetched. Okay, so fine. You pick that. That's because you also didn't say, Nicolette, like, what do you like to do? Like, we had no conversation.
But at that point, the guy doesn't know you. At that point, the guy doesn't know.
So they should be asking. Like, it takes a lot. Like, you should be asking, like, okay, like, what do you like?
So she's not okay with you saying, what would you like to do? But it's like,
getting to know me.
So at that point, if you are asking what you want to do, it's because you haven't done your homework and because you haven't been paying attention.
Yes.
Whereas by the point that you're going on the first date, you should already know what would be a good idea and have multiple options to pick from.
Right. So for example, like, I'm vegan, right? Like, I eat vegan. I know you eat vegan too, but like, the person at this point should know, if you're asking me on a first date, like, know that if we're going to go out
Let's go to a steakhouse.
Yeah, like, don't ask me. Don't ask
A
me
Brazilian meat buffet.
Don't ask me to a steakhouse. Like, bad first date.
Can you imagine?
They have salad on the menu. Okay, all right, hold on.
No. I know you're vegan, but they have salad.
Hold on. Okay, we've been going on for a little bit. I want to end this with, describe your perfect first date in 45 seconds or less, starting with Nicolette.
Okay.
And then we'll make our round.
1, 2, 3, go.
Okay, perfect first date. Oh God, go to, get some good food. Definitely key. We laugh. We almost like. Oh my God, 45 seconds. So we sit there.
Have like 15 left.
You know what you didn't like. You were pulling that out of the hat like it was
this is what we're working with, guys. This is what we're working with.
All right, no, it's a good dinner. You're getting along. You're vibing. You're laughing. You don't realize that the time is passing by. That's a good first date.
All right.
Okay. So just getting food. Like, you're just happy with getting food and having a great
good dinner and drinks, great conversation, and getting along so well that you don't know, don't know that the time has flown.
Okay.
Right. For me, it would be like we do something that makes us want to talk about it afterwards. Let's say we're both really into, I don't know, like drama movies or whatever, and we go see like a big drama at the theater or whatever, and we're like really into it and want to discuss it and like, what do you think about like the ending and stuff like that, for example. Whatever we do, it has to be something that we both really, really like. And then afterwards, like at this stage in my life, we go for drinks, maybe for like a little quiet lounge type bar where we can just drink and talk and whatever, and just, just vibe, just have a great time with that person and want to see them again. That would be like the great first date. Yep.
Okay.
How about you?
You tell me you love me.
On that note.
Well, there you go. Some people are easier than the others.
We say all that to say, on some first dates, you plan them and things don't go well. And on other first dates, you plan them and
you get rejected.
Things still don't go well.
And you meet the love of your life.
Right. Nicole.
Nicole.
Hey, that's my line.
Sorry. Tell us what you think is a
About your
perfect.
first date.
Yep, sure. Just do it yourself. Why not? Tell us what you think is your perfect first date. Like and subscribe. Leave it in the comments. We'll be sure to get back to you. Thank you, Nicolette, for being our guest.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.